Let's get on to the big doozy. Now, normally we do a bunch of categories here: biggest fail in a debate, biggest controversy, best line of the debate, worst line of the debate. Now, in this case, it's going to be all of those in one, okay? Because we're going to go video 7 and video 8 here. Okay, so now there was plenty of controversies. Rubio and Cruz launched against each other on immigration, on many other issues. Rubio and Christie took a couple of swings at each other. Trump beat down Jeb Bush and called him weak. And then there was the birtherism thing between Cruz and Trump. Yes, all that stuff happened. It was fun. It was a good old brawl like you usually have on the Republican side. But it's not even close when it comes to this one exchange between Trump and Cruz. Definitely takes the cake. First, Cruz starts with the worst line of the debate and the biggest fail. You won't necessarily notice it here as he does his stupid standard talking points. Oh, we hate Massachusetts. We hate San Francisco. And he tried it against New York. In this case, he's talking about New York. Let's watch that first.
Senator Cruz, you suggested Mr. Trump, quote, embodies New York values. Could you explain what you mean by that?
You know, I think most people know exactly what New York values are.
I am from New York.
You're from New York, so
yeah.
You might not. But I promise you in the state of South Carolina, they do. But everyone understands that the values in New York City are socially liberal or pro-abortion or pro-gay marriage, focus around money and the media. And I guess I can frame it another way. Not a lot of conservatives come out of Manhattan. I'm just saying.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, so at this point, he's got the smug face going on.
Real good.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did that snide little comment about not a lot of conservatives come out of Manhattan. That's a reference to Trump saying not a lot of evangelicals come out of Cuba, which was pretty much a racist line, by the way.
Yeah.
So Trump looks like he's thinking about it. He's weighing his options. I thought, honestly, I didn't think about the line Trump's about to deliver on top of his head. I thought, well, a lot of your donors come out of Manhattan. So, and that would have been a decent line. But it wasn't as good as what Trump said.
Conservatives actually do come out of Manhattan, including William F. Buckley and others, just so you understand. And just so, if I could, because he insulted a lot of people, I've had more calls on that statement that Ted made. That New York is a great place. It's got great people. It's got loving people, wonderful people. When the World Trade Center came down, I saw something that no place on earth could have handled more beautifully, more humanely than New York. You had thousands of people killed, and the cleanup started the next day, and it was the most horrific cleanup probably in the history of doing this and in construction. I was down there, and I've never seen anything like it. And the people in New York fought and fought and fought, and we saw more death, and even the smell of death. Nobody understood it, and it was with us for months, the smell, the air. And we rebuilt downtown Manhattan, and everybody in the world watched, and everybody in the world loved New York and loved New Yorkers. And I have to tell you, that was a very insulting statement that Ted made.
Governor Bush.
So with the Buckley thing, he started out slow and then when he hit it with 9/11, I was like, oh shit, why didn't I think of that? Oh, I was like, oh wait, Ted, what is that? Look up. Oh, seek the Lord, elbow from the sky.
But I feel I feel like that perfectly demonstrated what I was talking about earlier, how Trump is willing to go to any extent, as far as he needs to go, to be dirty, to play dirty politics, to basically bash his components. And he did that, and someone who's at the same level as Trump, which is a deplorable level, would fight back with something just as bad. But Cruz is a typical politician who's playing by old school rules. He's not going to hit back the way that Trump would hit back. So if I were in his position, I would have said, oh, you like to exploit one of the biggest tragedy in U.S. history for political gain? Is that what you're doing right now? Because I'm talking about social issues that, liberals are in favor of. I'm not talking about what happened on 9/11, right? But he didn't do that. All he did is he literally looked down at the floor, looked up, and smiled awkwardly at the camera. It was disastrous.
It was a Jeb Bush moment.
Yeah, his face melted like his campaign.
Yeah.
He felt warmth spreading through his pants.
I thought at that point his campaign has started literally melting away. Now, we'll see. He could bounce back. He's in this thing. Like, he's one of the few guys who has a chance of beating Trump. Almost none of the other. Carson doesn't have a chance. Jeb Bush doesn't have a chance. Kasich doesn't have a chance. So maybe he finds a way to bounce back, but he got crushed. That was not the best line of this debate. That was the best line of any of the Republican debates. So that was, to me, almost a knockout blow.
I don't know how you would do this. It's impossible, I guess. It's going to take 50 years, I suppose. I mean, it's already been 14 years. We need to decide as a country that simply because you've been in New York or you were at New York, that is the answer to any criticism of you ever.
Right.
That you just mention it, and if we're saying that you're too close with Wall Street, and you say, well, Wall Street was there and the towers went down in the same city, so how dare you attack me on Wall Street? He said you have New York values, and that's a bullshit attack. But they say the same thing always. You have New York values, you have East Coast values, you have San Francisco values. So Trump says, no, there's lovely people, happy people. Yeah, they're in fucking San Francisco as well. Mm-hmm. He's saying that you flip-flopped on gay marriage and abortion and a number of other issues. That is totally true. And all Trump said was 9/11 happened. He gave a bunch of bullshit about being at the site. He wasn't at the fucking site. He didn't help with the cleanup.
He wasn't on the pile?
No, he didn't do any of that shit. All he said was 9/11 happened, which I thought we all knew happened. And I'm not disputing at all that it was totally effective. But it's only effective because our monkey brain, our lizard brain, doesn't process information well. And it doesn't realize that is a complete non sequitur.
Okay, I actually disagree with you guys. And I'll tell you why. Look, yes, you're 100% right that throughout politics over the last 14, 15 years, it's been way overused and almost always as a non sequitur. Yeah, but what about 9/11? Well, what are you talking about? I didn't ask about that. And in fact, probably the worst use of it was Hillary Clinton in the reference you just made about, hey, you supported Wall Street. Well, I mean, Wall Street was there on the 9/11. What? What does that have to do with anything? But in this one instance, I actually think that he used it right, because here's a guy saying New Yorkers aren't real Americans, right? That they don't have American values. And Trump says, you go tell that to the people who died on 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay? And boom, that's it. Drop the mic. It's over. And that is actually true. I mean, that is not a non sequitur. That is directly addressing the point that Ted Cruz is making.
That would be the appropriate time to insinuate that fact.
That's right.
Yeah, but Ted Cruz isn't saying, like, I don't care about these people's lives because of their political ideas. He's just saying, hey, New Yorkers are obviously socially liberal, and that's what he was attacking. Look, Trump hit below the belt. There's no question about it. He used it in a more proper context than Hillary Clinton did, but it was still dirty politics. And it's working really well for him, so he's probably going to continue doing it.
Yeah.
I still agree, by the way, it's the best line of the debate.
Yeah.
And it shows it was more clever than I think he normally is. He's normally just clever in the way that a bully is clever. But I think that he thought about that in response to, it's been like a week now that the New York values thing has been going around, and he planned to say that, I think. He stumbled around with stupid, no, there are good conservatives, and then he went back to what I believe was his scripted line.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think he delivered it as well as I just did. Okay.
Well,
And you're right, he had like a week to think about it.
Yeah.
But he just, 9/11, and it was already good enough.
yeah,
Right.
of course. And you know how to
I
speak.
agree.
For him, it's like he speaks in fragmented sentences, and it
Fragmented.
drives me crazy. The smell of death, the air, the smell. What? I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, and there's actually like a dramatic effect to it sometimes, especially when you use it in that kind of context. But he always speaks in fragmented sentences, and it makes me want to like shake him.